You are now listening to the Internal Affairs podcast.
Welcome back. This is the Internal Affairs podcast. As you can see in the title, Chapter 3, Matters of the Heart. Let it burn. Let it burn, let it burn, let it burn, let it burn. On this podcast, we're going to explore relationships. Of course, this is Matters of the Heart. We're going to dig into the ending of relationships, why these relationships end, why these relationships even begin, and the reasons for those relationships, and why sometimes you just got to let it go, why you just got to let it burn at some point. This could be family members, this could be workplaces, this could be, corporations, but we're going to focus on relationships and, friendships and family today. All of the time when we meet somebody, right, it's for a reason. And a lot of the times and some of the times it's just for a season. But like I said, all of the time is for a reason. So it's always up to us to allow ourselves to have those revelations. It's up to us to pick and choose what relationships we want to be in, what don't suit us, what suit us better. And sometimes it's time to just call it quits. And luckily, I've been on the end of both of the spectrum, so this is something I shouldn't have a problem really speaking on. Now, when we get into these relationships, right, we get into them for different reasons. Most of the time, it's just because the person might be cool. A lot of the times, it be sexual reasons. They just hitting that spot right, and now all of a sudden you're in a relationship with them, and you barely know them, and not to mention, you must don't know yourself that well to end up in this type of relationship, right? So, let's speak about the physical part about it, right? You go into a relationship, you like how this person look, you like they swag, you like how they talk, you like how they walk, whatever the case may be. They might be cool company, but that might only be for that particular moment in your life. We have to be careful, especially those of us that are more aware of our spiritual path. We have more awareness of our life purpose and things of that nature. We are the ones that are held accountable and have the responsibility, because we have the awareness to know when it's time to call it quits or not to get in these specific relationships, but we all fall short. So like I said, I've been on both ends of the spectrum. I'd have been in a situation where, and here, wait, before I even get into that story, here's the thing, right? 9 times out of 10, especially when we don't truly know ourselves, and when I say know yourself, I mean understanding your shortcomings, understanding your flaws, understanding your uniqueness, and being holistic about yourself. Like, just having a good idea of who you are, right? Having a good idea of what you want, and having had prior experiences so that you know what you want. But a lot of times, that don't even be the case. A lot of times we be in shit because a specific part of us that we might feel that lacks something, or we might not know we have some form of emptiness there. We like to plug that hole up with another person. We like this, what they like to call falling in love and things of that nature. And a lot of times it really just be us postponing the inevitable. What's the inevitable? The fact that you're not exempt from getting to know yourself. You're not exempt from accepting yourself and getting to love yourself and know yourself, good, bad, and ugly. You cannot give that job away. You can't give that job to another motherfucker. They ain't gonna do it right. They're gonna leave you on the side of the road. You'll be like, damn, what had happened was, you know what I'm saying? So we cannot get into relationships and think they're gonna fulfill us, right? We have to already be fulfilled. But who knows that shit when you out here just, you know what I mean, booping and bopping and hipping and hopping and whatever you want to call it. You out here chilling. You out here just trying to have a good time. Or you might just have good intentions. A lot of times I've been in situations to where I projected a lot of my good qualities and good characteristics onto other people, only to be let down because I held them to that high regard and had that same expectations from them, of them. And there been times that somebody had a certain expectation of me and had a certain idea about who I was, or I gave them a certain idea, and when I don't live up to that, then it's time to part ways, right? So yeah, like I said, a lot of times we just want to fill a void, right? Other times it's just blind. Like I said, it's just a blind thing where, like I said, you come into a person's life for a reason, and a lot of times for a season. So a lot of times it's just for you to learn the lesson on a spiritual level, mental level, emotional level, whatever the case may be. And some of the times it's for the other person to learn the lesson, or you both gonna learn the lesson regardless. This is the thing about Matters of the Heart. It's going to be fair no matter what, whether you play fair or you don't. The lesson is going to be there. And this is the thing that I learned about the lesson, right? No matter how bad it hurt, no matter how much you wanted it back, no matter how bad you wanted it to stay together, right? When you allow yourself to go through the cycle and go through the hurt, the pain, the confusion that leads to clarity and healing and things of that nature, when you allow yourself the time to do that, you ain't gonna have no choice but to love the lesson. And even with all the bullshit that came along with it, you will learn to accept that. You'll learn to be like, all right, I see where that happened. I see where I went wrong at. It's all just data. But at the same time, we talking about feelings and emotions. We talking about matters of the heart. And your shit hurt. At the end of the day, like, I've been on both spectrums. I've been on a spectrum to where somebody I was kicking it with them, and then they just fell back. And then I've been in a situation where me and a person kicking it, and then, it felt like I might be the toxic one. I might be holding the person and holding myself hostage from us going our separate ways and expanding and becoming a more authentic version of ourselves, becoming the greatest version of ourselves. Because that's all this podcast is about. That's all we doing here. We always trying to dig deep and get to the core reasons of why we do what we do, why we react the way we react, why we choose the partners we choose, why we choose the places we live. These are important things. These are things we have to get to the root of. And these are the same reasons that when you don't get to the root of this shit, you'll find yourself by yourself, or you find yourself with the wrong person in the wrong relationship, feel like you're at the wrong time in your journey. But like I said, it's always a lesson. So that lesson is always going to redirect you onto your path. Now, with that being said, right, let's talk about being on the end of the spectrum of when somebody just leave your ass. You know what I'm saying? When they just done and they want to go move on with their life for whatever reason. That's their free will. That's their right? So here's a story, right? I was in this. I was talking to somebody, and I felt like we had a real good connection. We was talking for a couple months. We wasn't really spending that much time together, but we had created like a routine. We created a regimen. We created something that was familiar, right? So I'm in a situation, I'm chilling, I'm getting used to it, I'm making plans, and all of a sudden the person decides, oh, I'm done, I don't want to kick it with you no more. Peace out, right? Now I'm left with all of this time. Now I'm left with all of these questions and all of this confusion and this rejection, and beginning to ask myself, well, damn, nigga, what the fuck wrong with you? You know what I mean? This all leads to things like that, to where you start to question yourself and you start to feel like you lack something. But on a deeper level, it's necessary, because had you already been fulfilled, had you already been accepting of yourself, and you didn't need that person to fill that void, you wouldn't find yourself in that situation. You'll always remember, like I have to always remember, that my job is to take care of me. My job is to accept me. My job is to validate myself. My job is to define my own purpose. My job is to make my own decisions based on what I feel is right for me, what I feel is intuitively right and what's cohesive to the path that I'm on. So yeah, you build all this time up with this person, and then they go ghost, or they leave, or they go back to the old person, or they, for whatever reason, they leave. You ain't hitting the spot no more. You ain't stimulating them no more, whatever the case may be. Or they might got a good reason. They might have to just do what they had to do, and they felt like they had to move away from you to do it. All good things come to an end. And that's the thing I'm learning about pleasure. Like, it's a lot of pain and pleasure, because pleasure leads right to pain, yo. It's like the doorway to pain. That's why moderation is everything. I'm starting to learn that. Too much of somebody, too much of something, and you don't balance it out, you'll see when that thing leaves, you're going to have to find a way to balance it out, and you're going to always come back to the conclusion like, damn, I got to balance me out with me. Feel what I'm saying? So, like I was saying, this person left, and I'm stuck with me now. And I'm like, not only am I stuck with me, I'm like, damn, who am I? I thought I was cool. I thought I was handsome. I thought I was funny. You know, why would this person step away from me? We was chilling. And when you create like that, when you allow somebody to come into your life and create that distance, and they become a reflection to you of you looking at yourself, like every time you looking for them for confirmation, you looking at them for validation, then it's an imbalance there, it's a problem. But these are the things we do. We don't be knowing no better. We young, we kicking it. This person pretty, they handsome, they, you know, they saying all the right things, they pressing all the right buttons. And like I said, when you're trying to fulfill a void, whether you're conscious of it or not, this is what happens. I've been on the other end of the spectrum too, where I had to step away from a relationship. Many relationships, some because I felt like, well, damn, it's not fulfilling. I feel like we're not going in the same direction. We're not growing. We don't have the same drive. And I had to end a relationship because I was toxic as fuck. All my toxic patterns and traits was coming out. It was hard for me to control them. I was projecting all my negative thoughts and feelings onto the other person. And I had to stop and realize, like, hold on, man. Like, you need to deal with you. You need to get right with yourself. You need to deal with your own demons. You don't need to be making nobody else feel down about themselves, or making them feel like they obligated to stimulate you in a certain way or adjust to your perception of reality, right? And that's something that's very mature and very hard to do. It's hard to tell. How you gonna tell a person? It's kind of like telling them, yo, it's not you, it's me. And that shit be cliche, but sometimes that be the case. You be having to be like, man, sometimes like, yo, listen, I just can't handle this shit. I'm spazzing out on you for no reason. I'm calling you all type of names. I'm not being considerate. I'm not being loving. I'm not being open. I'm not being supportive. I'm being more of a detriment to your life than an asset. I'm more of a liability, right? And then you gotta ask yourself, why is this person allowing this? This is because we believe we be in love. We believe we supposed to stay down and stay 10 toes down and 100. But like I said in the prior Matters of the Heart podcast, right? We are not obligated to love somebody to the extent where to our own detriment, right? So when we reach this point right here, it's time to let it burn. This go for family members too. This go for friends, and it go for places and jobs and all of that. Like, how do you tell somebody in your family that you knew for 20, 30 years, all your life, they changed your Pampers? How do you separate from them? How do you get distance from them? With love, though. And sometimes we don't know how to do it. Sometimes we find ourselves in situations to where, yeah, it might work. You know what I mean? Let's say you had an apartment you was trying to hold on to, or a car note and a certain type of lifestyle, and your job was just working for you for that while, but now you're tired of surviving. Now you want to thrive. Now you want to live out your purpose. You want to reach your destiny. You want to leave behind a legacy now. So now that job and that car and all of those things, you got into that for whatever reason or for whatever void or responsibility you was trying to fulfill, right? Now that's don't seem to be enough. It seems to be actually holding you back now. This is what happens. Because when we approach things from the state of being of lack, when we approach it from unworthiness and filling a void, we always end up feeling like it ain't enough no more. Or we just outgrow it. And like I said in the beginning, a lot of times it's just a season, it's just a lesson. So, for example, I had got out of one situation, like I said, somebody that broke my heart, left me all wondering, like Stevie Wonder, and then went to a situation where I'm the one that's doing the heartbreaking with the understanding of the lesson that the person that I'm breaking their heart gotta go through. Like, that's a tough pill to swallow. Like, I know what road you about to walk down if you really want to grow and expand. I know what road you gotta walk down. Like, it's either two things a person gonna do when they get their heart broke. They're gonna get with themselves, start caring about themselves and loving themselves, and being more healthy and treating themselves better and bringing more awareness to within themselves and the world around them, right? So they don't choose the wrong partner or get in these situations no more, or they gonna go and keep continuing that pattern, right? So there's no shortcomings really in it, but a lot of times, like I said, because check this out, a lot of us are coming into our spiritual awareness. A lot of us are realizing it's a shift going on and realizing, yo, you just can't have any old body around you at this point. It's 2021. You can't just hang around. You just can't. If you with the drug dealer, you hang with the drug dealers. And if you into your spiritual journey and your creativity, you're gonna hang around spiritual people that's tapped in and creative or whatever the case may be. If you're a ball player, you probably gonna be in the gym with ball players. But a lot of times we meet people that are unevenly yoked with us. That's what my mother always, it's a saying that my mother always say, like, yo, y'all just might be unevenly yoked. And on a spiritual level, I just look at that as somebody got a lot more awareness of themselves, or they're more into dealing with their traumas and their triggers than the other person. Or another person could just be so traumatized by their prior situations that they just have so many knee-jerk reactions and triggers that they're just toxic by default. Guilty. Totally guilty of this shit. All of this shit, right? So, either way, it's not like a negative or positive or one person right or one person wrong. It's just that y'all met at the, like, I don't want to say the wrong time, but y'all unevenly yoked, you know what I mean? So, in order for both of you to have the opportunity to grow, like I said, expand and move on to the next best version of yourself, a lot of times you have to depart ways. Now, when these seasons end, 9 times out of 10 they end on a fucked up note. It's like, fuck you wasn't shit anyway. I never liked you, it wasn't all that good, or this person trying to act funny with me now. They trying to act like they can't answer the phone. I got people to this day, they call my phone. I'm like, I can't answer the phone all day. I got 24 hours in a day. I got my mind set on certain things. I got certain responsibilities now. Like, shit changed. That's a lot of times you just outgrow people. You just start to take more responsibility and accountability for your life and your path, and get more in tune with your intuition and who you truly are. And that person might not be there yet. Or maybe that person had to do it in a whole nother way, and y'all got to part ways for maybe. And sometimes you just part ways for a season. I got people in my life that I don't talk to for 9-10 months, and we get on the phone, and it's like we ain't never leave each other. And that's when you know you got a real family member, whether they're your family or not. When you ain't got to make no excuse for why you got to do what you got to do. When you don't have to give them no explanation, or they're not asking for an explanation when you call them and y'all ain't talked for a long time. It's just like, oh, what's good, word, bro? Like, yo, I'm happy for you, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of times people just want to hold you in that small space to where they're familiar with. They're not ready to grow. They're not ready to let you fly. And sometimes people be knowing this too. They be like, oh, I'm seeing you starting to come up. I'm seeing you starting to, talk to, rub shoulders with different type of people, or you starting to manifest and really put into play the things that you said you was going to do. You starting to build your dream. You starting to bring shit to reality and make it reality. And that person might not have that same drive. That person might not have that same type of spirit. They might just be comfortable with the 3D shit, with the physical shit, with just chilling, laying around, fucking, rub your feet, be real nice to you, be happy, all of that. But to a person that is beginning to awaken to the world around them, when you beginning to awaken to who you are, your good, your bad, and your ugly, and you begin to cultivate more purpose in your life and have more of a reason for being alive, right? A mundane relationship is not going to do it. A mundane job is really not going to do it. You're going to need something to fulfill you on a creative level. You're going to need something that's constantly expanding and growing and broadening its horizons. So you start to want to be surrounded by people that's doing better than you, doing some of the same things you do. Some people that you don't have to sit and explain every little thing to that you're trying to say and lower your vocabulary down and things of that nature. And it comes with pressure. Like a lot of times you be feeling like, damn, nah, this my homie, man. We've been around each other 20 years. We've been through a lot. And now a lot of times people don't understand, but the thing about life is this: came in by yourself. You're going out by yourself. You gotta just let it burn. And one thing about it, it truly does burn, especially in the beginning. A lot of times when you don't get the lesson up front, when you don't know the reason why this is happening, and it starts to feel like, damn, why is this happening to me? This always is happening to me. Somebody's always coming in my life and leaving out of my life. Or even like me, I done came in people's life and felt like I just had to get distance between them. Just felt like energetically we wasn't vibing. Because everybody got a friend or a family member or have been in a relationship to where, like I said, you on your path, you on your grind, you on your job, you trying to grow. You might be fucking up, you might not be the best person, you might even be a little toxic, but you're willing to work your way through these things to become a greater version of yourself. Now, when you're with a person that don't see nothing wrong in themselves, or they ceiling is just really low for life, they got lackluster energy, they might not be as charismatic as you, they might not be as funny as you, they might not just not have that flavor, just not have that lust for life yet. They might have to go through a couple stages, or they might not never get there. You never know. But the thing about it is, you're there already. Your path calling to you, your destiny calling to you, your purpose is calling to you, and your intuition is just growing on you more and more every day as you're around these people. The more you talk to them, the more you realize how the distance between you two is just growing further and further.
You are now listening to the Internal Affairs
like I said,
podcast.
You might still have attachments to these people. I know a lot of people not just a lot of people, I done stayed in relationships before, way after it was due, because we had great sex. We looked good out in the public together. We could come together and we could make shit work. Everything's working. All the bills are paid. It's comfortable. Yo, you can just lay around and chill and watch Netflix and chill. But to somebody that's awakening to the fact that you have to constantly grow and expand, that's not going to be enough. Your soul just not going to let you lay there and be comfortable. Those of you that's listening, if you know, you know. And some of you might just be going through the heartbreak or going through a separation or just had to get, distance yourself from somebody, and you might not have your reason yet or don't know why you did it, but it was something inside you, or it was something in your gut that was just telling you, like, this ain't it. The vibe wasn't there, that the energy wasn't matching. But like I said, you gotta let it burn. And a lot of times what you're gonna realize when you let it burn, you'll look back and you'll say, damn. Because I do this all the time. I'll be like, if I would have stayed in that city, if I would have stayed in that relationship, if I would have kept hanging with those people, if I would have stayed at that job, I would never have known or ever been able to live out this version of myself to where I am becoming more integrated, more whole, more accepting of my flaws and my uniqueness, more accepting of my doubts and all of that. My capabilities, all the good, all the bad. I would have never got there because I would have stayed in that routine. I would have stayed in that train of thought. I would have stayed in that mentality, and I would have been in that situation they are in, or even worse. And like I said, I've been on both ends of the spectrums. It ain't really I don't know if it's a good way to end a relationship besides just truly just telling the person, like, look, we don't see eye to eye. I don't feel like this is the direction I'm supposed to be going in. You have that right. You have that right to end shit. You have that right to walk away. You have that right to not answer that phone call. You have that right to stay true to your path. You have that right to stay true to your creative endeavors and stay true to your vision and what you believe yourself to be. Because it's one thing to talk it, it's one thing to say you're going to do this and all of that, and it's another thing to actually go through the emotions, go through all the mental confusion, all of the anxiety, all of the depression, and all of the stages and levels and cycles that it takes to get to that version. And 10 times out of 10, that's going to come with letting some shit burn, letting some people go, letting some things go, getting rid of some habits, changing your surroundings. But it's all up to you, what you going to do with it. It don't make sense to your heart. Your heart still hurt. 9 times out of 10, you still got love for that person. Genuine love. You want to see the best for them. Or that person might have genuine love for you, want to see the best for you. And it's okay not to understand, especially if you're going through it right now. It's okay not to understand what's going on. It's just important that you know you got you. And never to allow yourself to separate from yourself again at the expense of someone else. I learned this both ways. If you are the person with the awareness, if you are the person that knows when we call it quits, quitting while you're ahead is not the same thing as quitting. I think I got that quote from American Gangster. I think Denzel said some shit. Nah, Denzel's mother said some shit. Hold on. I think Denzel, I think that the cop told Denzel, yeah, man, in American Gangster when he played Frank Lucas, like, yo, quitting while you ahead ain't the same thing as quitting, and it's really truly not. Because when you do things for your reasons, which are the right reasons, if you do something because that's how you felt right there at that time, then it's the right reasons. You just got to be ready to live with it. It's going to come with shame. It's going to come with guilt. It's going to come with resentment and regret for a short period of time. You're going to grieve, but we looking in hindsight. We looking down the road. We looking to the next best version of ourselves. And I'm telling you now, it come with separation a lot of times. It come with crossing paths with people that you had genuine love for, and you thought you might not never break up with them or not be their friend again, but you hit a crossroads or you hit a ceiling in that relationship to where there's no growth and no expansion. And when that happens, it's like, yo, I have nothing else to teach you. I have nothing else to learn from you. You have nothing else to teach me, and I have nothing else to learn from you. So let's let it burn. Let it burn. Like Usher said, let it burn. But we moving into a time, man, you have to be able to fuck with yourself. You gotta be cool with your shortcomings. You gotta be cool with your vices and your flaws, and getting a better understanding of why you are the way you are, and being able to accept yourself on a daily basis. And that could cut down the chances of you ending up in these type of situations again. You'll know what to look for. You'll know what you truly want and what you truly don't want, because you've been spending time close to yourself. And even when you get in another relationship, it'll be totally different, because you'll be looking for somebody or be more open to a person or a friend or whatever the case may be that's doing some of the same things you're doing, have some of the same type of mentality that you have. And it'll be more like a gym buddy, like, oh, you work out? I work out too. Well, let's just go to the gym together because we're going to go anyway. You know what I'm saying? And then you might got a person there to push you a little bit, show you some different shit. But you can't pull a person into a space that they're not ready for. You can't pull a person into a space they're not willing to go. Trust me, I know. Like, I done had people trying to pull me into situations that I'm closed to. I might have been open to in another season, but this season I'm closed down to. And the thing about it is the residue that get left behind, and that's what I mean, let it burn. Like, take all the good memories, you know what I mean? Take the bad memories and mix them all in and just call it a lesson and just eat it up. You know what I'm saying? Season it real good and eat it up. I learned in the last couple years, like, to just be okay with the lesson and leave the details alone, because you don't want to be stuck in your head what it should have, could have happened. And that's a part of healing too. But at some point you gotta balance out, you gotta level out, you have to get grounded into yourself and just realize that at the core of these relationships is the fact that you're asking somebody else to fulfill a void that should have already been fulfilled, or you should be fulfilling on your own. And that's what I had to learn, especially when I got left. Especially when you get, when you get left, it's a little more baffling and it's a little bit more hard. I don't know which one more hard though. I want y'all to comment on this on my YouTube, or email me at internalaffairs11@gmail.com. Internal Affairs, spelled just like the podcast. I want you to tell me which one you think harder. Is it harder to be the one that has to leave somebody, or is it harder to get left? Now, I've been through both situations, and I came to the conclusion like this. I would rather be the person that gets left. And that hurt. That shit hurt. You might be driving your car and you can't even see the road. You don't even know how you got to work, because all you could keep doing is replaying what happened and what didn't happen and what should happen and what could happen in your mind. And you don't even know how you got to work. You be in a sunken place when you get left. You know what I mean? Because you don't really have no understanding. It's like fucking somebody throwing cold water on you. It's shocking. And it feels so personal and so flagrant and so directed right at you. Like it's you're the problem. Even if the person left you because they felt like they wasn't given enough, you still gonna feel like me? You gonna leave me? What's wrong with me? I thought I was okay. So like I would rather be left with that, because I feel like it's harder to be honest and come out and tell a person like, look, I'm gonna have to go my way, which means you're gonna have to go your way, and I got my reasons. And if you really being 100, and if you really got the awareness, you're gonna realize, they're your reasons. It ain't because of that person, really. Because whoever that person is, however they're acting, they're a reflection of something inside of you that even chose that person. A lot of times I met a lot of people at a level where I was worried about the physicality. I might have been off my path a little bit, drinking and chilling and in a little slump or something, or coming off a rebound, or whatever the case may be. And then you allow certain energy into your field, and after some time go by, you realize like, oh, this energy don't match. It's just the fact that it can't be reciprocated because y'all not on the same wavelength. We living in America. Most people is in relationships because it's working, meaning the bills is getting paid, or the sex is good, and this person is serving a purpose for them, like I said. And it's not just a true magnetic thing to where y'all just are attracted to each other because y'all are on the same frequency, on the same vibe. And I hate to be using frequency and vibrations and all that, because people be overusing that shit. But like I said, a lot of times we be in different spaces. A lot of times people haven't dealt with their trauma yet. People don't know who they are yet, and they just reaching for something better than what they had in the past. They just looking for a rebound, or they just looking for something for the time being. Or they had, like I said, haven't dealt with their shit. Because I was in a situation, I ain't dealt with my shit to the point it was so out there for anybody to see that I was like, yo, it's time to call it quits. I gotta deal with me. I'm fucked up. I'm wilding out. I'm out of pocket. I'm saying things to you and accusing you all type of things that it shouldn't even be. It's not acceptable. And like I said, I always had to ask myself, why is this person accepting this? What is wrong with them? Why don't they feel like they deserve better? Because when you know yourself and when you love yourself, you're not tolerating certain shit. You got zero tolerance. Fuck all the compassion and the empathy and nah. You got zero tolerance after you've been through a certain amount of experiences, and after you reap the rewards of that wisdom, you're not going for nothing. I'm sorry. Red flag come up, they up out of here. Because you got you love yourself. You content already, you're already satisfied. So then when you come up with something, when you meet somebody that might just be trying to use you for the time being, or they not too satisfied within themselves and they want to use you as a reflection, right? You'll see that a mile away, and you'll know like, I ain't getting into that, because I could tell this person not fulfilled already. I could tell this person is going to cling on and need something from me that they need to give themselves. And I'm at a point, like, I don't want to put nobody through that. I don't even allow myself to, like, really kick it with people that they ain't talking about nothing but the mundane. You know what I mean? They not trying to get nowhere. They don't have no 5-year plan or 10-year plan. They not taking the steps toward their goals and their dreams and becoming a better person, and might not be able to admit their wrongs and still pointing fingers like how I was at one point. So when I see a lot of that, I try to stay away from it. I give people game. I give people a certain amount of my time, but I learned to just be like, yo, let me save this space for somebody that's equipped for it. Let me save this space for somebody that we both could benefit off coming into a collaboration with each other. You feel what I'm saying? Even if it's just for a sense of humor, just for a laugh, but it's not a situation to where we draining each other or taking away from each other, or it's coming from a place of lack or need. Because anytime it come from there, you know, you're going to feel like something missing. You're going to feel like you unevenly yoked, like my mother would say. A lot of times you be knowing, if you got the awareness, you know, like, yo, I'm not going to be able to move forward in my life into my next cycle if I don't let this job go, if I don't move out of this city, if I don't let this person go, if I don't distance myself from this person. You already know, because you know it intuitively, because you're a little bit more tapped in and spend more time dealing with yourself. And like I said, you're the one that got that responsibility to cut it loose, because you're going to feel it first. You know what I mean? You're going to know, like, this ain't mixing in with my endeavors. This not mixing in with my routine. This person can't energetically really keep up with my train of thought and where I'm going, and they not really adding to who I am and who I'm becoming. So, and they might be cool as hell. They might treat you like a queen or a king, but that morality shit, it only gets you but so far. Because one thing is for sure, when your soul's speaking and when your spirit's speaking, oh my God, and when your intuition is speaking, when you're getting those gut feelings and things of that nature, you don't need to know why. You just need to just go your way. You just need to just go your way. If something don't feel right, it ain't right. I don't care how good that shit look, how good that shit tastes. Candy feel good. Candy tastes good. Sugar tastes good, right? Have enough of it though. And see how sick you be. See how much of a diabetic or a stroke or whatever you have. You know, can't have too much of anything. But we got issues. We all got issues, and like I always say, when we don't address these issues, and I know firsthand, when we don't address these issues, we're going to ask the other person to adjust themselves. We're going to be screaming at the other person like they're wrong. Or like I said before, like I mentioned, yo, you could project all your good qualities onto somebody and they don't have none of them. Like, I done got caught out there before, like, yo, shorty talking the same stuff I'm talking, or she into what I'm into, and no. You be talking to a person and they be talking about their dreams and goals with you. They be like, you be like, yo, word, I got dreams bigger than your whole team. Facts, word, yeah, we gonna do it. We gonna do this and do that. And like I said, you look back and you realize this person ain't put one foot forward towards what they said they was gonna do, who they said they are, and you'll be happy that you went through that phase of being hurt, or went through that phase of crying and letting your heart be all broke, and you'll be happy as hell. Like, I'm happy I let that burn. What if I would have stayed in that another 2 or 3 years? And like I always say, it's all fair. It's all fair in love and war. That's what they say. But I know when it comes to like love, and it comes to people, and it comes to staying true to yourself, I do know it always come a time when you're going to have to choose if this is still beneficial to you, if it's still healthy for you, or the other person. Like I said, I've been on them. I was just in some shoes not too long ago where I just wasn't my best self, where I was unaware of a lot of my own traits, patterns, and knee-jerk reactions. And through the relationship, it brought that out of me. And right there for me to see it. And once you see it, it's like, yo, you have to take responsibility for that. And you also have to take responsibility for how you affect other people. This is something I'm learning. I come from somewhere that who cares how you affect another person. But, you know, as you get older, you get wiser, and you realize, like, okay, I gotta go through these phases, I gotta get through these issues, and you're gonna have to decide, and that person gotta decide if they want to stand on your side through that. And you got to decide if it's worth it. If you want to drag a person along, because sometimes a person might be willing to go with you all the way to hell with you, but it might not be fair to them. And when you got the awareness, you have to be the one to say, yo, let's let this go. Let's let this burn. Trust me, you'll meet new friends. It'll be somebody else out there for you that's more fitting, that'll teach you more subtle lessons that can kind of glide with you through life, and y'all could be more partners, and y'all relationship can be multifaceted to where it's not just your family member, they're not just your brother, they're not just your girlfriend or boyfriend, they're your friend too, they're your partner too, they got your back on all levels, and they constantly bringing something to the table just by default, just by them being themselves, and you know, soul searching in themselves. They always gonna have something to bring to you, to enlighten you, to help you grow, to give you a better perspective. Like, for example, I got one sister, and I love the shit out of my sister. And it's not because she my sister, it's just because we always had a cool ass relationship. And not only that, we continue to grow apart and together. She do what she do the same thing I'm doing. She's into building, she's into taking a step forward to who she says she is, and owning up to her shit, you know what I'm saying? So just by default, she gonna always have something to kick it with that we can build on, and vice versa. So it don't matter about the title, it really matter about the energy, it really matter about the reciprocation and the effect that this person have on you, the effect that this place have on you, this job. A lot of times we be scared to leave shit because we don't know what's on the other end. And I'm gonna do a podcast on fear, and like maybe, you know, 5 or 10 of the core fears that we have on a daily basis that we live with. A lot of times we just in these relationships out of fear of the unknown. We don't know what's gonna happen if we leave that. Damn, what if they end up better off with this person? A lot of y'all in relationships right now, you just with a motherfucker that just don't want to see nobody else hit that fat shit. But she don't want nobody else feel what you giving out, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, you don't want to see her on another side with another dude looking all happy. But the thing about it is this: they might very well be happy with another person, but they might not never could have reached that level of happiness with you. You gotta be okay with that. You gotta be okay with letting it burn. And boy, does it burn. I think I didn't harped on that enough. I think I made my point on that. It's Matters of the Heart 3. Let it burn. Let it go. Move on and grow. I'm gonna holler at y'all on the next one.
You are now listening to the Internal Affairs podcast.